Sarah Hewson, I'd like to go to you. I mean, you've been at many royal events in and amongst crowds. What's the mood like at the Abbey?
Well, I think the mood today is very sombre. It is solemn because today is the moment that we mark the Queen's passing, and it is a day that will define the end of the Elizabethan era. But she was 96. It was a life lived to the full, and it was a life well lived, as her own son, King Charles, said. And so I think we will also see an atmosphere of celebration of that life amongst the sorrow. But it is remarkable, the scenes we've seen here in London over the past 10 days, isn't it, Peter? That queue that became a cultural phenomenon, people weeping as they bowed their heads in Westminster Hall to see the coffin. Many people completely surprised by the way in which they've reacted to this, because I think not just is this the death of a monarch, but it is also the passing of a generation and that change, that end of an era. And that will take some coming to terms with. And that is why we've also had this long process, 10 days of public mourning here, 10 days of ceremony in order to prepare people for this moment, and then the beginning of the reign of the new king.
Sarah, I know we spoke about it off air, but were you surprised that William's kids are going to be as prominent as they are going to be today?
Look, this decision, Paul, has been taken after really careful consideration by the Prince and Princess of Wales, who wanted their children to be a part of what is a moment in history for all of us as a nation, but also for them as a family. They played a really prominent role during the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. They have been prepared for this, but perhaps nothing preparing them for a day on this scale. But we're told by Australia's Governor-General David Hurley that Prince George, who's aged 9, does have an understanding of what is going on. He is now beginning to realise from the tributes, from the response to the death of his great-grandmother, Gangan as they called her, just how important a figure she was. Little Louis, who's just 4, won't be attending today, but he's had many questions, including, can we still play the same games when we go to Balmoral? Now Gangan isn't there anymore. But for George and Charlotte today, taking part in that procession, not the full walking procession, but the procession from the door of Westminster Abbey through the Abbey to take their seats alongside their parents, will be very, very significant indeed, and also sends a very powerful message about the next generation and the future of the royal family.
Well, we'll end on an Australian note with you, Nigel, because confirmation is coming through that the Prince and Princess of Wales and all 3 children will do a royal visit to Australia. We were musing with former High Commissioners here. We don't think we've ever had a royal family visit of this nature. We're going to see a lot of diplomacy, not just from Charles and Camilla, but also from the Walesers, aren't we?
Whatever future, whatever constitutional future Australia decides to take, and that's up to you, although I would just say that all of this going on is rather better than a dreary republic with some cracked-out politician in charge, but that's your choice. But I think what this message sends is that the royal family are there to be part of this debate, and actually, you know what? Whatever future Australia chooses, it's very important to us. This connection between our 2 countries, it matters. I would suggest it matters for both of us. And the big signal is that's going to continue.
Yeah, Nigel and Sarah, thank you very much. We'll see you in the Man Cave and in Australia in a couple of weeks' time.